each other. Jabs, you can see that Paker uses his quickness more with his jab, but Rosenblatt is a left-hander, and that will be a difficult punch to land.
Rules of the bout with our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
The Dana Rosenblatt Chad Paker fight will be 12 rounds. There is no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight, and you can be saved by the bell in the last round only. Jim.
All right, let's go up to Michael Buffer now for the pre-fight introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the site where legends are made, Caesar's Palace of Las Vegas, Nevada, where tonight Top Rank Incorporated, along with your undisputed, undefeated king of beers, Budweiser, this Bud's for you, present an evening of championship boxing. This first contest is brought to you and sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission, Chairman Dr. James Nave, Commissioners Nat Carasali, Dr. Elias Ghanem, Luther Mack, and Crispin Rivera, Executive Director Mark Ratner. Our lead physician is Dr. Flip Homansky. Attending physicians are Dr. James Wishgame and Dr. Al Capana. The timekeepers are Jane Broadfoot and James Cavan. This first bout is also sanctioned by the World Boxing Council, supervisor at ringside, Dickie Cole. The 3 judges scoring the contest on a 10-point must system will be Dwayne Ford, Davy Pearl, and Al Siciliano. And when the bell rings, the man in charge of the action, referee Jay Nady. And now, ladies and gentlemen, from Caesar's Palace, 12 rounds of boxing for the WBC Intercontinental America's Middleweight Championship. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the white, trimmed with gold and weighing 160 pounds. His professional record an outstanding one. 31 victories without a loss, 1 draw, 25 KOs. Ladies and gentlemen, from Biloxi, Mississippi, introducing the undefeated challenger, Gentleman Chad Paker. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the white, trimmed in light blue and weighing 159 pounds. Also, an outstanding record, 23-0, 18 KOs. Ladies and gentlemen, from Malden, Massachusetts, presenting the undefeated WBC Continental America's Middleweight Champion, Dangerous Dana Rosenblatt.
Referee Jay Nady waiting for Rosenblatt to remove his outer cover, and now Dana moves in.
Gentlemen, it's been a long trail here. Do you have any questions? This is for the championship. Let's have a good 12 rounds. Obey my commands. If there are any questions, let's go to work.
The arcs of 2 young, perhaps promising careers collide here. One of them will go on to bigger and better things. Which one?
Paker came out in a very unique uniform, which so much reminds me of some guy that I know.
He was borrowing your act, Roy. He came out in a white dinner jacket. Yours, of course, was a tuxedo the night that you bested James Toney. Eddie Futch promised us that Paker would be using straight right hands and left hooks to the body, the normal formula against a southpaw like Rosenblatt. Rosenblatt hooks to the body with the right hand. He's a natural right-hander who's been turned around by his trainers to fight southpaw. That's an intelligent move, I think, Roy, because it makes that lead right hand a powerful force.
Yes, it does. And right now, Chad needs to move his head a little because he's walking right into the straight left hand, which is not a good thing to do when you're facing a southpaw fighter.
Break means stop punching and step back.
Neither fighter looks particularly well warmed up as they get started here in round 1. We're outdoors at Caesar's Palace, but it is not particularly warm tonight. Temperature will probably settle into the 60s, and that should be comfortable for both fighters. Good straight right by Rosenblatt as Paker was coming in.
Straight left, as I just said before. And The thing is that Chad has been off for a whole year. You have to remember that. Rosenblatt has been fighting, so Rosenblatt is feeling more comfortable right now, I'm quite sure.
Now Parker lands a right hand over the top, tries another, and Rosenblatt pulls him into the ropes.
You get tangled up and then break it, guys.
Whoa. Hard right hand by Rosenblatt, and we'll wait to see if Parker can get up from that one. Dana Rosenblatt with quite a shot, and Jay Nady, concerned about Parker's condition, stops it before the end of the count.
And like I said before, Chad Parker's been off an entire year. It's very tough to come back and face a fighter with the skills of a Dana Rosenblatt after a year's layoff.
Nevada medical authorities immediately on the scene after Rosenblatt landed that lightning right-hand shot. And you saw there the benefit of that right-hander turned around to fight southpaw.
Exactly. That right hand was also his power hand when he started boxing. And after going through jabs and hooks, which are mostly used in training, your right hand develops to be very, very strong. My left has turned the same way.
I'll bet it has. So Dana Rosenblatt with his 24th consecutive victory, his 19th KO. It comes at 1:28 of round one. Chad Parker has his first loss, and a very tough moment for Parker, who, as Roy points out, had been away from the sport for 344 days and gets a rude awakening upon coming back to the ring.
He claimed that he had had 4 fights scheduled during that period that were called off for one reason or another. But you have to wonder how eager the young man was to fight, if couldn't find anybody to fight in that time, and whether he was brought in here because he hadn't fought in that length of time. But I suppose if you can say that a straight right hand and a left hook is what can hurt a southpaw, the opposite is true for what can hurt a conventional fighter. And there you saw, he just walked right into a classic short right hook, never saw it. Never saw the punch.
Like I said, he was coming in a lot right down the pipe of the left hand, and he was leaving his head straight up. And if you leave your head straight up like that and run into a punch, is much more effective than if you were just standing out there and got caught with it.
Michael Moore is the other fighter that we know of active today who is a conventional fighter, a right-handed, who turned around southpaw and uses the right hand to jab, to hook, to throw straight right hands and uppercuts.
Well, and then there's the opposite situation. A natural southpaw who's been turned around to fight conventionally, and his name is Oscar De La Hoya. And now let's go up to Michael Buffer for the official particulars on this one.
Ladies and gentlemen, the end comes at 1:28 of the very first round. The winner by knockout victory, and still the undefeated WBC Continental America's middleweight champion, Dangerous Dana Rosenblatt.
Because he is a marketable fighter, as Roy said before, a rare Jewish fighter in this day and age, I just hope they don't move him too quickly. He fought no amateur fights. He has to move up in class slowly. And if I were his management, I would take my time, one fight at a time, maybe a couple of years away from being a serious competitor, if he gets that far, for a major championship.
Nice moment there between Rosenblatt and Chad Parker. Roy Jones Jr., I pointed out to you at the meeting yesterday, there are millions and millions of dollars to be made if this guy can continue winning. It's hard to learn much about a fighter off of that brief a performance, but what'd you see in Dana Rosenblatt?
Dana Rosenblatt is a very, very, very good boxer. He's a very strong puncher. Joe Lake is being very, very careful in choosing his opponents. Therefore, I think he will take Rosenblatt straight to the top. It may take longer than most people will think, but he will get him to the top one way or the other.
Yeah, they might like to wait until you're about 34, 35 years old.
I'll probably be 2 or 3 weight classes away from here by the time he gets there.
You know, his manager told us yesterday that he had never lost a round. I find that hard to believe. But after watching that, I'm willing to consider it.
He didn't lose a round tonight. Meanwhile,